And what if I told you that the business idea that can make serious money already exists? Worse, it's right under your nose, and someone else is already successfully leveraging it. Do you think that to succeed, you need a stroke of genius, something no one has ever done before? That's the biggest lie in entrepreneurship. In the next 14 minutes, I'm going to tell you a story, inspired by real events, about a method I call the strategic clone. This isn't plagiarism, it's not mindless copying. It's a discipline. A 7-step method to deconstruct, understand, and replicate the strategy behind a success, and adapt it to build your own engine in just 90 days. Forget the blank page. Today, we're learning to read the treasure map that others have already drawn. Chapter 1: The Myth of the Revolutionary Idea. We've all been sold this dream, the lone inventor in their garage changing the world with an idea out of thin air. The truth? Most wildly successful businesses are just improved versions, or simply different versions, of something that already existed. Think about it for a second. Facebook wasn't the first social network. Google wasn't the first search engine. They observed what worked, identified weaknesses, and offered better execution. The obsession with originality is a trap. It's an excuse to never start, waiting for a divine revelation that may never come. The strategic clone starts from the opposite premise: success leaves clues. The market has already voted with its wallet for certain types of offers, certain types of messages. Your job isn't to invent, but to investigate. To become a detective of success. The story I'm telling you is about Leo. Leo spent his nights searching for the idea of the century. He filled notebooks, bought domain names, but never launched anything. Everything seemed either already done or too risky. He was paralyzed by the inventor myth. His energy was focused on the what, while the real question is the how. The first day we worked together, I asked him to throw away all his notebooks. His quest for originality was his own prison. His liberation began when he accepted that his success didn't depend on a new idea, but on his ability to execute a model that has already proven its worth. And that's where the real work began. But before you can execute, you need to know what to look for. That's the subject of our second chapter. Chapter 2: The Anatomy of Success, Deconstructing the Model. Once you accept not reinventing the wheel, the question becomes, which car do you want to drive? Or rather, which car do you want to learn to build? The first step of the strategic clone is to choose your subject of study. Look for companies, often small to medium-sized businesses or solo entrepreneurs, in a niche that interests you, and who show clear signs of success. These signs aren't necessarily revenue figures, but indicators of engagement, an active community, abundant customer testimonials, omnipresent advertising. Leo, for example, was passionate about personal development. We identified 3 online coaches who were absolutely crushing it. Instead of just subscribing to their newsletter, we started performing a true autopsy of their business. We bought their entry-level products to understand their sales process. We listed 4 pillars to analyze for each model. 1. The target market. Who exactly are they speaking to? Not just women aged 30 to 40, but overwhelmed young mothers who want to regain their confidence. Be precise. 2. The offer. What are they selling? An online course, group coaching, software? What is the main promise? 3. The message. What words do they use? What pain points do they tap into? What is the dominant emotion in their communication? Fear, hope, desire. 4. The sales funnel. How do they convert a stranger into a customer? Via a webinar, a free challenge, a strategic call? We mapped out each step. This deconstruction work is the foundation. Without it, you're flying blind. You need to become a reverse architect, capable of redrawing the plans of a building simply by observing it. But observing the structure isn't enough, you need to understand the engine that powers it. Chapter 3: Reverse Engineering Marketing. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes. They see an ad that works and copy it word for word. That's the worst thing to do. It's not the ad itself that's magic, it's the psychology within it. Reverse engineering marketing isn't about copying the text, it's about understanding the strategy behind the text. With Leo, we used Facebook's ad library to analyze all of his competitors' ads. We weren't just looking at the image or the headline. We were asking deeper questions. What is the main angle of attack? Are they leveraging social proof with testimonials? Are they using urgency with limited offers? Are they telling a personal story to create an emotional connection? We created a spreadsheet with columns for each aspect: the hook, the promise, the targeted pain point, the call to action. We noticed that one of the successful coaches never spoke of gaining productivity, but reclaiming 2 hours a day to finally take care of yourself. The nuance is huge. The first is a feature, the second is a deep emotional benefit. The strategic clone forces you to think like a psychologist, not an advertiser. You clone the understanding of the customer, not the competitor's words. It's a radical shift in perspective. Once you intimately understand who the customer is and how to speak to them, you can create your own message, with your own words, your own story, but one that will strike the same chord. That's where imitation becomes true inspiration. And now that we have the plan and the message, we need to build the offer. But not just any old way. Chapter 4, the enhanced mirror offer. The goal isn't to offer exactly the same thing as the model you're analyzing. That would be plagiarism, and it wouldn't differentiate you. The objective is to create an enhanced mirror offer. That is, an offer that mirrors the structure and core promise of what already works, but by adding your unique touch, what I call the plus one. This plus one is your differentiator. It doesn't have to be a revolution, just a significant improvement. For Leo, the coach he was analyzing sold an excellent video course on time management. It was solid, but purely passive. Clients watched the videos alone. Leo's plus one was to add a community element, a private group with a weekly challenge and a live Q&A session each month. The basic promise was the same: better time management. But Leo's offer added the dimension of support and accountability. To find your plus one, read the comments and reviews left on your competitors' products. Customers will tell you exactly what they're missing. I loved the course, but I felt a bit alone. The content is great, but I would have liked printable worksheets. These critiques are gold nuggets. They are the roadmap for creating your enhanced mirror offer. You're not starting from scratch, you're starting from a market-validated foundation and simply making it better. You don't need to guess what people want, they're telling you. You just have to listen. And once the offer is defined, you need the tool to deliver it. Chapter 5, the technical skeleton, the clone's tools. Many beginners get lost in the technicalities. They spend months comparing dozens of tools, seeking perfection. The strategic clone simplifies all of that. Your mission isn't to find the best tools in the world, but to identify and replicate the functionality of your model's tech stack. How? It's simple. Use tools like BuiltWith or Wapalizer. With one click, these browser extensions tell you what website system your competitor uses, who their email provider is, and which payment processor they chose. You instantly get the technical skeleton of their business. For Leo, we discovered that the successful coach used a well-known page builder for their sales funnel, a specific platform to host their courses, and a standard email service. The goal wasn't to use the exact same tools, especially if they were expensive. The goal was to understand the functions. I need a sales page, a member area for videos, and a system to send emails. Then, we looked for the simplest and most affordable options that fulfilled these three functions. We often tend to overcomplicate technology, thinking that a more expensive tool will bring better results. That's false. Success comes from strategy, not software. A clear message on a simple page will always convert better than a confusing message on an ultra-designed, overpriced website. Replicate the function, not necessarily the tool. Keep things simple, fast, and effective. Speed of execution is more important than technical perfection. And that speed is precisely the heart of our next chapter, the action plan. Chapter 6, the 90-day action plan. A strategy without an action plan is just a dream. The strategic clone unfolds over an intense 90-day sprint, divided into 3 30-day phases. It's a marathon at sprint speed. The time pressure forces you to focus on the essentials and avoid procrastination. Phase 1, days 1 to 30, analysis and strategy. This is the detective phase. This is where you do all the work from chapters 2 and 3. You choose your model, you deconstruct its offer, its message, its marketing. By the end of these 30 days, you must have a clear document that precisely defines your ideal client, your enhanced mirror offer, and your primary marketing angle. Phase 2, days 31 to 60, construction and creation. This is the architect phase. You build the technical skeleton. You create the content of your offer, the videos, the PDFs, the support materials. You write the copy for your sales pages and emails. By the end of this month, everything must be technically ready to welcome customers. It doesn't need to be perfect, just functional. Done is better than perfect. Phase 3, days 61 to 90, launch and iteration. This is the scientist phase. You open the doors. You launch your first ad campaigns, drawing inspiration from what you've analyzed. And above all, you measure, you listen, you adjust. The first few weeks are crucial for gathering feedback from your first customers and improving your product and message in real time. This 90-day plan transforms an abstract idea into a concrete roadmap. Every day, you know exactly what you need to do. But one crucial point remains, perhaps the most important of all, which separates the strategist from the mere copycat. Chapter 7, the ethics of cloning, the red line not to cross. This last point is fundamental. If you ignore it, everything I've just told you can backfire on you. The strategic clone is a method of inspiration, not an excuse for theft. There is a very clear red line. You must never copy anything protected by law, trademarks, logos, copyrighted content such as website text, video scripts, or the exact content of a training program. It's illegal, immoral, and foolish, as it will bring you no lasting success. What you clone are the intangible strategic elements. You clone the business model, not the product. You clone the sales psychology, not the ad copy. You clone the client avatar, not the brand identity. For Leo, this meant he could not use his competitor's program name, colors, or exact taglines. But he could draw inspiration from the structure of their program, for example, a 6-week course with group support, because a structure is not protectable. He could address the same type of customer, overwhelmed young mothers, but with his own story, his own personality. The goal is to understand why it works, to then build your own what and your own how. The strategic clone is an accelerator, a way to learn from the best to launch faster and with less risk. It's a tribute to efficiency, not an invitation to dishonesty. Your voice, your story, your personality, that's what will ultimately make your project unique. Strategy can be cloned, but your authenticity, never. In summary, let's stop hiding behind the excuse "I don't have an idea." Success isn't about invention, but observation and execution. By following these 7 steps, rejecting the myth of originality, deconstructing a successful model, reverse engineering its marketing, creating an enhanced mirror offer, replicating technical functions, following a 90-day action plan, and, most importantly, adhering to strict ethics, you're no longer starting from a blank slate. You're starting from a roadmap. You're using the experience of others as a springboard. This isn't cheating, it's strategic intelligence. The energy you used to spend searching for an idea, you can now devote to building, serving your customers, and bringing your unique touch to the world. The map is there, you just need to read it and start moving. Comment go if you want to launch your business. Don't forget to subscribe.